standing high. The mainstream media's dead, and we are why. Millions of followers hear us out. Seen all over the world, there's no doubt. We are the future, shining bright. Join the raw feed every night. Out of the newsroom, into the light. No suit and tie, it's feeling right. Unscripted moments, the host is scary. On Next News Network, we never vary.
Good evening, America. This is Gary Franchi with the Next News Network, and tonight on the Raw Feed, we're diving headfirst into the storm, both literal and figurative, that's ravaging our nation. But before we get into the meat of tonight's show, I want to remind you that we're not just talking at you, we're talking with you. Our live chat is buzzing right now, and we want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your reactions to today's news. So don't be shy. Jump in and make your voice heard. And speaking of making your voice heard, I need you to do something for me right now. Grab your phone, open up your messaging app, and share the stream with everyone you know. We're bypassing the algorithm tonight, folks. We're streaming live on YouTube to millions worldwide. We're also live on Rumble and X. Make sure you're following us on all these platforms because you never know when the powers that be might try to silence us. Now let's talk about what's really going on in the country. We've got bodies piling up in North Carolina in the wake of Hurricane Helene, and a president who can barely string two sentences together, stumbling through a very rare press briefing. We've got a vice president who gets stumped by her own teleprompter, and amidst all this chaos, we've got Donald Trump surging in the polls. But here is the kicker. The mainstream media does not want you to know about any of this. They're too busy running cover for the Biden-Harris administration's monumental failures, and that is why we need your support more than ever. Your Rumble rants, send them in, and you will be featured on the show, and also your donations, your subscriptions keep us growing. Yes, the donations, we desperately need them to keep us on the air. The link is in the description, folks. Every dollar counts in this fight for truth. Tonight, we're going to break down the FEMA failures in North Carolina. We're going to dissect Biden's rare and chaotic press conference. We'll take a look at Kamala Harris's latest campaign trail disaster, and we'll analyze Trump's defiant return as he heads to Butler and his hands-on approach to hurricane relief. We'll dive into the latest polls that have the Democrat establishment in a panic. So buckle up, America. It's going to be a wild ride. And remember, we are not just reporting the news. We are fighting for the future of this great nation. Stay with us because the storm is far from over. Now, let's welcome you to the show. Who do we got? We got Jessica. We got Andrea. We got For Emo. We've got Andrew, Sure You, Archangel, Jessica, Mary, Phyllis, Pothead Kenny, Roaring Lion, Uncle Fester, Jessica. We've got Mama Kalish. We've got Greg, our Boyd, Michelle, Jessica, Sabrina, Adam. We got Plena Threes. We got William in the house. We got Renee, Michelle, Mary Jo, Sabrina G, Julie 45, Phyllis. We've got Dave Wollenberg here, Clyde, El Mulato Trumpo, Dark Torch is here, Shannon is here. We've got Jessica and Mom, Todd. Everybody's in the house tonight. Make sure that when you do sound off in the chat, that you let us know where you are watching from and what kind of device, like St. Louis on a smartphone, that kind of thing. Helps everybody get an idea of just how big this Next News Network family really is. We got Jay in the house. We got Ruglestar Joey. We got Kira. We got Joshua. William. We got Sneaky. Marion Coop. Kieran Edmonds and Jessica. Annabelle. Ron. Spartan Officer. Jay T. Price. Bill Kilgore. Janet McDonald. Charmaine Cox, Sonia Swan, Gwen VC, Ken and Stephanie and Mike. The gang is all here. It's great to see you guys joining us on this Friday evening. I wish I had better news to report today. I mean, we got some good news later in the show, but we do have to get into the unfortunate truth that is really affecting so many people, and the media, politicians are sweeping it all under the rug. It's an election year. They don't want the numbers, the death toll numbers, to get out and have an adverse effect on Kamala Harris and her campaign, because this would really do a lot of damage to her. Okay, let's get into the first topic, Brian, first segment of the night. Folks, what's happening in North Carolina isn't just a natural disaster, it's a government-made catastrophe. We're talking about bodies in trees, in mud, everywhere. And where's FEMA? Nowhere to be found. But it gets worse. We've got whistleblowers coming forward, exposing a level of incompetence that will make your blood boil. And wait until you hear about the missing $1 billion. That's right, billion with a B. Stay tuned, because this story is about to blow the lid off of Washington's deadly negligence. Now, check this out. Are you listening? Just like FEMA's failure to respond to the disaster in North Carolina, you don't want to be caught unprepared on the road. Recent reports show drivers with dash cams are 60% less likely to be found at fault in traffic accidents, saving time and money on legal battles. This easy-to-install dash cam records every detail, offering collision documentation and 24/7 security. Don't let your safety be neglected like the victims of Hurricane Helene. Visit carvisionx.com and get free express shipping and several bonuses with every order during their summer special. Don't miss out on this opportunity to protect yourself when others fail you. Okay, so we got to get into this. I've been tracking this all day. So much news to get into. And first on the list here, Spencer Smith tweeting out that he just got off the phone with a pastor in the midst of the flooding in Tennessee, North Carolina. He is in one of the most devastated locations. He verified a few things about the situation. Almost all help is being done by private citizens, mainly churches. Private helicopters are flying in the vast majority of supplies. Local sheriffs are telling people to feel free to defend their property from looters by whatever means they have. Without the rule of law is happening in some areas, which means looting, robbing, and etc. FEMA's involvement has seriously complicated the rescue efforts. Local sheriffs have threatened to arrest FEMA workers if they hinder rescue and aid work. It's like a civil war. The response to this tragedy has been massive and overwhelming, all from private individuals and local churches. Pray for these people. Now, another post that is going viral right now, as you can see, Wall Street Apes made note that this video has been shared, and if you haven't seen it, we're going to play it for you. And this woman details what she heard for FEMA executives at a private airport in western North Carolina.
Representatives picked up a flight of pediatric medical supplies that were brought in and are going to North Asheville. We were sitting in the private portion of the airport, and we got to overhear an awful lot. The Army pilots, the Navy pilots, hospital representatives, there was a lot of chatter. While we were there, a private jet landed and 4 FEMA representatives got off. Four people off of a private jet. Come to find out, and you're not going to hear this, so let me tell you. Come to find out, Mission Hospital was told, a private hospital, that they are going to go ahead and be the morgue center for body recovery. All of the Army Chinook helicopters you're seeing flying overhead, they are doing body recovery. FEMA said, and you can take this as a direct quote, said that they are too tied up at the border to send any more representatives. Yeah, at the border. So anyhow, I guess border control trumps whatever's going on here. So they told Mission Hospital they are not sending refrigerated trucks so that they can stack the bodies up. And we also overheard that whatever fatality numbers you are hearing, and this is a quote, go ahead and add a couple of zeros. So FEMA's too busy with the border. A private hospital and the Army are going to take over body recovery, and private individuals with their private helicopters and their private planes are the ones who are flying in supplies. I was at Hangar 10. I was picking up supplies. There was a stack for the Cajun Navy. There was a stack that looked like it was ASPCA. These are all being sent by private individuals. FEMA is doing nothing. Go ahead and share that.
So I have no reason to believe that this woman is lying. There's no reason to believe this woman is lying. However, Adam Schiff is pointing out that there's now a FEMA misinformation center being set up because this information, see, they don't want this information getting out. This is an election year. And who's in charge? Joe Biden, supposedly. Kamala Harris, she's too busy on the campaign trail. But the buck stops with them. So when she says add a couple extra zeros to these numbers of the body counts, it's because the true numbers, they don't want them to get out because they know it would absolutely destroy the administration and destroy Kamala Harris's chances of getting into the White House. This is a fact, my friends. There's so much here. John Rich. You know who he is? Famous country music star. Actually went to his house once. Great guy. Amazing patriot. He said he just spoke to a friend of mine in law enforcement in North Carolina. He said that they have, and I quote, already used over 500 body bags, and there are bodies in trees, mud, cars, houses, everywhere. No Fed support whatsoever. So according to John Rich, 500. Now what if you add a couple zeros to that? General Flynn also revealing the horrifying truth. 150 plus counties from Florida to North Carolina are in disaster zones with over 1,000 dead in North Carolina alone. The total could rise to 2,000 plus. Flynn says the federal government has done nothing. Let's listen in.
So let me take it to the big picture first, because and then I will take it down to North Carolina and what should be done, what should immediately be done, and we're already a week too late. So big picture, we have over 100 counties, probably around 150 counties from Apalachicola, Florida, all the way up to the Appalachian Mountains of Western North Carolina. So probably looking at 150 counties, in various states that are in a complete disaster zone. And so this is a federal emergency of epic proportions, of biblical proportions, that the federal government has been totally absent. Okay. I mean, absent. And I have folks that I'm working with right now, and I'll talk a little bit about what we did in North Carolina, what's going on in North Carolina, because people out around the country are, frankly, some around the world are asking where they can help, but certainly people around the country. So the big picture is we got about at least 150 counties that are in a total disaster zone, from northern Florida all the way up to in parts of Tennessee and, of course, North Carolina. In North Carolina, there's over 1,000 dead that have been confirmed to me with just the body bags that have been filled. There are insufficient numbers of body bags, so there are dead bodies lying aside, and this is mainly up in North Carolina, that is already pushing over 1,000. My guess is that by the time we look at all of what has happened, we're going to be probably somewhere around 2,000 or north of 2,000 dead people. There are still people caught up in the hills of North Carolina and eastern Tennessee that their towns were completely wiped out. They're totally isolated. Homes are gone. And one of the things I want people to understand is that one of the things that you consider for humanitarian disaster recovery and relief operations, one of the first things you look at is the terrain and the weather conditions that are impending, right? So at nighttime right now up in the mountains of North Carolina, I'm very familiar with this area. I've trained up in there. I've been up in there many times in my experiences in the military, especially at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I won't call it the other name, but Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which I will talk to in a second here with the potential deployment of other resources that the government has. So the weather conditions right now are wet. They are, because it's misty at nighttime, it rains at night. We're looking at weather temperatures that are in the low 30s. And in another week or two, by the end of this, certainly by the end of this month, we're going to start to see freezing conditions, possibly even an early snow in the mountains of North Carolina, where these people are still walking around with nothing. So when because I want to talk about what types of resources need to be brought to bear and the things that I know that are being done. So the big picture is we're going to probably be north of 2,000 dead. We have at least 150 counties, maybe 200 counties from northern Florida all the way up into western North Carolina that are in this disaster zone. The federal government has done nothing.
They've done nothing. General Flynn speaking to Benny Johnson there. Terrence Williams posting, FEMA can't be trusted. Please drop off supplies and food yourself. Give it directly to a nonprofit or a church. Don't give anything to FEMA. You can drop off supplies at this address. You can see it right there on the screen. 218 Patton Cove Road. And that's Swanona, North Carolina. And here is Brian Go Vertical for this.
We had volunteers passed out today unloading trucks. We need volunteers. There's a semi sitting here that's got to be unloaded. 5 trucks is going to another location. Immediate need, we need medical supplies, insulin. If you have access to insulin or colostomy bags, we've got people that need that stuff. And then our immediate need is diesel fuel. If you're in the North Carolina area or you've got access to diesel fuel, we need diesel fuel. So we've got a lot of supplies coming in. There's a huge need. We're feeding 1,500 people a day. And so there's much to be done. So if you can donate towards that cause, or if you've got those resources.
Donate where?
So we'll put this in the box underneath the video. You can give at www.restoration, RESTORATION, Restoration Church, NC, North Carolina.org/give, and you put it under special offering, and we'll make sure it comes to this project. Now, if you give money, we're going to make sure that it goes to help the people right here. We're not getting involved with other government agencies. We're not putting it on a truck and sending it somewhere. It's staying right here to help these people in Swananoa, Black Mountain, Montree, Burnsville. It's going to stay right here in this community, and we're going to make sure it goes out. So if you can give, that address is www.restorationchurchnc.org, and you can give that way. But now the diesel fuel, I got to have the diesel fuel in person because it's got to come from out of town because we can't buy that here. So if you want to.
So much is happening here in North Carolina. I've got a lot to get to, my friends. So Trump was on with Larry Kudlow, and FEMA doesn't have enough money for additional hurricanes. And let's listen to Trump's reaction.
Immigrants. FEMA is now saying, Alexandria Mayorkas, they don't have enough money for any additional hurricanes. We all thought they were chock full of money. That money's been given away to illegal immigrants, almost one by one. I don't understand this. This is a perversion of policy.
So you don't understand it because it's not understandable.
I don't get it.
In all fairness, it's not understandable. So we now have no money that was supposed to be used for tragedy, for hurricanes. And this was a tragic hurricane. This was maybe the worst hurricane we've ever had. And he's got no money. And we said, what happened to all the money? They were given billions for this. He spent it on illegal migrants coming into the country, a big percentage of which are murderers. I don't know if you saw 13,099 murderers.
All this money that FEMA had was redirected. Listen to this. There's more.
It's been a terrible response from the White House. They're missing $1 billion that was used for another purpose, and nobody's seen anything like that. No, from that standpoint, it's been terrible.
Terrible for so many people. Elon Musk tweeting out some private messages that he received. Now, FEMA's on big defense right now. They've called in Adam Schiff to run cover for their mismanagement. Elon Musk received this message. The level of belligerent government incompetence is staggering. WTF, FEMA is both incompetent and stopping people from helping. How can I help? It's true. They're now about to shut down the airspace to regulate the private choppers we are riding in to deliver Starlink and supplies. We are pushing back with Trump team as well to help us, but not looking good. We need help to get the word out because FEMA, we spoke with Ivanka and handed out Starlinks with her yesterday, but FEMA then showed up and started blocking us. The largest concern for us here is FAA throttling flights for our choppers, where they are requiring to and from information and mission now to deliver a discrete code. Doing this takes a long time and very cumbersome to the ops. This is the largest concern and most help we could use, but I appreciate. So Elon Musk, boots on the ground, reporting to him that FEMA is actively blocking despite the disinformation that is being perpetuated by people like Pete Buttigieg and Adam Schiff. Here's more. Laura Loomer got this from a follower who lives in North Carolina, not too far from the areas devastated by the hurricane, expect a very high death toll. Why is the media lying about the real numbers? Media said death toll is 250 people. It's likely more. I have friends that are linemen who are on the ground. Hundreds are still missing and bodies still on the ground. Death toll, from what we're hearing, is well over 500 or probably more. Funny that numbers are being kept low or not discussed or reported on. Like I said, this is all by design. It's an election year. And if they have a staggering death toll in the thousands, it would be devastating to Kamala Harris's aspirations to win the presidency. Here's another woman. North Carolina residents are taking to social media to report that the feds are rejecting their applications for the $750 Kamala checks. Remember those checks that Kamala was handing out? You got $750. Listen to this woman.
Hey guys, for those that don't know, I'm at the foothills of the Western North Carolina mountains, and everybody in my area that I've talked to, including myself, who applied for the $750 assistance payment from FEMA, has been denied. Okay? Yeah. They've denied us. Okay. So here we sit. We've thrown out all of our food because we had no power for 5-6 days. Some still are without power. Here we sit. Limited resources in the store. And they have denied our $750 resource check. So, yeah. How do you like that?
I don't think she's lying either. They've got enough money to send it all to Ukraine and for all the migrants. Here's more on Fox. Children have died because Kamala Harris has put illegal aliens first.
Is because this country has ever seen. The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children, were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency. Its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing, how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care. And our fellow citizens, including babies, children, young kids, were left to suffer and drown. They did not scramble the helicopters. They did not scramble the military. They did not send needed assistance. But if those children had been living in a foreign country, they've been living in Haiti, or they've been living in Venezuela, why then Kamala Harris would have sent in help immediately. A betrayal like we've never seen before, Sean. This is infuriating.
Oh, it's more than infuriating. That was Trump advisor Stephen Miller on Sean Hannity's program. Oh, it doesn't end, folks. Here's the FEMA whistleblower coming forward with allegations matching what was reported earlier this week. According to Congressman Matt Gaetz, the agency withheld pre-disaster aid and had first responders and service members waiting in hotels without deployment orders. Here is the letter that was sent to Alejandro Mayorkas. Government refusing to rescue Americans. Oh, and by the way, Lindsey Graham, I can't believe, I mean, the war hawks are so sick. They love war so much. They love to just cause destruction all outside of our borders. Spend all that money elsewhere. Listen to this guy. Listen to what he says, Lindsey Graham.
Our friend. You can thank Donald Trump and Elon Musk for that.
But look, you know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family? God. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the...
Help our friends? What about our countrymen, Lindsey? What about the people inside our borders that need our help right now? Health Ranger reporting 10 hours ago. I'm hearing so many reports from people on the ground now that the severity of this is far worse than what we are being told. Major cover-up by the corporate media and the government itself. Josh Yoder, the reality on the ground in Western North Carolina is significantly worse than the media will admit. These are just a few photos that I took over the past few days. Human remains are still being discovered. Oh, and you know who James Carville is, right? Yeah, he's no friend of Trump's. Okay, he's no friend of conservatives. But even he sees the madness, and he's calling it out. Listen to this guy.
What the fuck are you people doing? Get off your ass. Move, move, move. Why isn't Harris herself out today talking about that? This is not an issue that people don't care about. It's not a nitpicking thing. And I got to tell you, the White House response, and I think by and large, to a large extent, the press response is not at all measured to the gravity of this lie, of the importance of this, of you're lying about people's goddamn lives, all right? What the fuck are y'all doing in the Harris campaign? Get her out there now, now.
Yeah, sorry about a couple of those F-bombs there. You know, people are very passionate about what's happening right now, but even James Carville sees the writing on the wall. He even knows that they're lying about the numbers, because the numbers would be devastating to Kamala Harris's campaign. Unacceptable. Kamala Harris and this administration have to be held accountable. Americans are dying. Here's that letter again. FEMA announces, ready for this? Gateway Pundit, non-citizen aliens will be granted hurricane disaster assistance. Non-citizen aliens. And I want to share something. One of our viewers sent this in to me this morning. And he said, hey, man, would you help my friend get his message out? I said, you got it, my friend. He sent me the link to this man's YouTube video, put it up on X. I started texting it to everybody that I knew. I texted to the Health Ranger, Ty Bollinger, George Papadopoulos, Roger Stone. I sent it to everybody that I could. And right now, as of this report, it has 16,500 views. It's been reposted 158 times, 24 bookmarks. So it's getting some traction. This is David from Black Mountain, North Carolina, delivers an emotional message after Hurricane Helene devastated his town. Brian, please go vertical.
To my town. You insult me with the minimal checks and the minimal money you're offering for my town that I love so much. You haven't even bothered to go to the town. and you dare to speak Black Mountain's name, to speak Asheville's name, you are a disgrace to the American way of life, to the American people. You give thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to illegal aliens in this country in the hopes that they're going to vote for you, when inevitably you grace them in to the voting pool. You give hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and other countries for wars that don't need to be happening, for programs that don't need to be happening. You turn your back on United States citizens that desperately need your help. I am ashamed of you. You are truly scum.
He's not wrong. You can go to our X profile. You can see it specifically. President Trump and Governor Kemp received a briefing on the hurricane today. Trump is acting like a president, and Biden is nowhere to be found.
Again, set everything up. Our first 24 hours of operation, it was a response operation. We immediately went into clearing. The very first morning we started clearing, and by daylight the next day, we had a lot of our major roads already cleared. On day 2, Columbia County went proactive. We decided we weren't going to sit back. It was no longer a response. We went proactive, and we said we've got to make sure this community is taken care of. Even though there was no gas, no grocery stores open or anything like that, we were able to make sure that we could get to all residents. We used social media to our advantage. In this particular case, it's all we really had. No TV stations. We had, again, 60,000 people without power, 95% of our county, but a lot of people had charged their phones. So we were giving daily updates and multiple updates daily, letting the folks in Columbia County know where they stood.
President Trump on the ground today, doing the work of a president. While Kamala Harris is busy at a rally and Joe Biden making surprise press appearances, undermining his own preferred candidate, Kamala Harris. What was interesting here is that Laura Loomer posted this about 6 hours ago. And it's a point that I brought up last night. She says, this is probably why Pete Buttigieg doesn't want people flying drones over the areas hit by the hurricane. A drone would show all the dead bodies and dead animals floating in the rivers and floodwaters. I bet that's why they don't want people using drones. How many dead bodies are they hiding from us? And I actually made a short of this. I put it out there. It's on our YouTube. It's on our X. And I basically reiterated the point. They are hiding the truth. They do not want rogue drone operators leaking video of what's really happening onto social media because they know exactly what would happen. The videos go viral, the truth gets out there, and it contradicts the narrative that is being put out by the White House and FEMA and people like Adam Schiff. They're doing everything they can. It's damage control. It's not disaster relief, it's damage control. Because this will destroy Kamala's campaign. This guy, Frank, fighting for freedom. Rescue arrives in the mountains of North Carolina. If you're going to stay here, we cannot guarantee you food and supplies. This is your chance to get out of here. This statement is pretty much proof that FEMA is not sending donations into those towns. Listen to this guy.
Know the same thing. Here real quick.
Go vertical, Brian.
And everybody's not here. They're still out killing people.
Okay. Well, when they come back,
Brian, go. Okay, thank you.
Real quick. Everybody from Barrington.
And everybody's not here. They're still out killing people.
Okay. Well, when they come back, we'll relay all that information. But for everybody that's here right now, what we're going to do, we're going to come out and we're going to drive out of here and we're going to go off into Mitchell County, okay? We cannot get down the mountain. So everybody's got to get in their vehicles and we're going to follow all the way down to Mitchell. Everybody else that comes back out, we're going to let them know the same thing. If you are going to stay, we cannot guarantee you food and supplies, okay? We can't guarantee that we can come back up here and get you. This is your chance to get out of here, okay?
We can't guarantee we can come back up and get you. Meanwhile, the White House is in damage control, saying that no FEMA funds were diverted to migrants under Biden.
False. Thank you. Former President Trump is accusing the Biden administration of using FEMA funding to support undocumented migrants. How is the White House responding to this?
I mean, it's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. And look, the fact of the matter is, I think Washington Post fact checker did a piece, and the headline recently, just moments ago, not too long ago, and the headline was, "No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants, but Trump did." I'll leave it there. Yep.
Secretary Mayorkas had said earlier this week that he was concerned that FEMA didn't have enough funding until the end for the rest of the hurricane season. Now that President Biden has seen the damage firsthand in the Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, heard him say at the podium he may have to call Congress back from recess. What exactly is he waiting for to be able to make that call?
Look, here's the thing. We put forth a pretty substantial, robust, I mentioned this moments ago, to be part of the CR. We were disappointed that it was not part of the CR. And if congressional Republicans were serious, if they were really truly serious about doing something for the communities that was impacted by Hurricane Helene, they would join us in calling for additional funding. This is what we've been doing. And so if they're serious, they would get to work and get that done, just like with the border. If they were serious about the border, they wouldn't vote against their own bipartisan proposal that they worked with us on. They're against it now. They weren't. They would move it forward. It would actually start fixing the broken system that we're seeing right now.
So she's blaming the GOP. Oh, no, they didn't divert funds. No, none of that happened. None of that happened at all. Oh, wait, what's this? Savannah Hernandez. Inside the furnished Maine apartments where migrants are getting up to 2 years of free rent and utilities. This apartment is in the same county which receives $6.1 million in funding from FEMA. The FEMA program has spent $1 billion on housing for migrants.
Paid for.
I'm not sure why it's not playing. Hang on. Just a second, folks.
How much is rent here?
Free. 2 years.
After 2 years, we have to pay the rent.
All right, y'all, this is Savannah Hernandez in Brunswick, Maine, reporting to you from the apartments where migrants are getting their rent paid for up to 2 years. Now, I wanted to give you guys a first inside look at these units. The migrants shared with us that they come furnished, so they have a flat screen TV in there, couches, tables and chairs, a bed. We also asked them as well, hey, are you paying utilities here? They shared with us that nope, they do not have a water bill, they do not have an electricity bill.
And what about the light and the water?
Everything is good. We don't pay anything.
Now, I wanted to focus in on this area of Maine because there is a housing crisis going on currently for residents, and these buildings were initially created for Maine residents, but then it was decided that homeless migrants would be living here. Now, as an American, you can rent out one of these units, but a 1-bedroom is going to run you about $1,800, and a 2-bedroom is going to run you about $2,300. By the way, the average housing price for a house over here in Brunswick is about $480,000. So there was obviously a lot of outrage when it was first discovered that migrants were going to be housed here for free on taxpayer dollar. Now, I wanted to
So there you have it, folks. FEMA's failure isn't just incompetence, it's a dereliction of duty that is costing American lives. While our government sends billions overseas and housing migrants on FEMA's dime, our own citizens are left to drown. It's a disgrace, and it's time that we demand immediate accountability. But here's what I want to know from you. How Has this disaster affected your trust in our government's ability to handle crises? Share your thoughts in the comments below. All right, let's get to the real-time reactions from chat. Liberty Tree says they are traitors. Illegals should not be allowed to vote. I can still listen. We have so many homeless vets. It was noted that FEMA gets like $21 billion annually, yet KJP says it was Trump that spent the money. BS. I watched them being trucked in for FEMA and stored in fencing yards. The campers were brand new. Wow. Lies. Amazing, says David. Vintage MXer. The Marxist way. Barbara Johnson, these migrants have new cell phones, getting food handed to them. People need help. Require them to work like you do to Americans. Hit the like button, yes. Oh, man. I'm beside myself. Okay, let's get to the next segment tonight here on the Raw feed. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just witnessed a spectacle that would be comedy gold if it weren't so terrifying. Joe Biden, the leader of the free world, stumbled into the press briefing room for the very first time in his presidency. And what happened next was nothing short of a disaster. Reporters shouting, Biden fumbling, his handlers scrambling to save face. But here's the kicker. What he said about Kamala Harris might just be the nail in the coffin for this administration. So buckle up, folks. This is going to be a wild ride. Now, check this out. Are you listening? While Biden fumbles through press conferences, our country's national debt has surpassed $35 trillion. The U.S. is borrowing just to pay back the interest, digging itself into a deeper hole. Meanwhile, gold has surpassed $2,400 an ounce. Smart money is shifting from paper promissory notes to what the Constitution deems real money, gold and silver. So if you have funds sitting in a low-interest bank account or 401k, retirement account, you need to call my friends at Global Gold Investments, America's leading conservative precious metals dealer, and receive absolutely free their new 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. That number on the screen, 888-700-4148. Mention Next News and receive their 5-star customer treatment along with a complimentary portfolio analysis. Operators are standing by. Call that number, 888-700-4148, or visit IRAGoldproof.com. Remember, if you don't have gold, then you don't have wealth. Okay, so the entire media world, if not the entire United States, probably the whole planet, was stunned today. President Biden making an appearance in the White House briefing room October 4th, 2024. A day that will go down in shame for this administration. For the first time in 4 years, Biden shows up at the White House press briefing. Was he asked about Israel? Was he asked about the flood victims, Iran? No, not a damn thing of importance, just more softball BS from the left-wing media. And they wouldn't allow Steve Doocy to ask anything. President Biden makes a surprise appearance to address a strong jobs report. Made his first appearance at the White House press briefing since taking office, highlighting the strength of the U.S. economy following a positive jobs report. During Biden's first appearance at the... I can't even believe it. This is his first time ever stepping foot in that room. During President Biden's first appearance at the White House press briefing as president, he says the election would be free and fair, but he's not sure it would be peaceful.
Come to the election.
Do you have confidence that it will be a free and fair election and that it will be peaceful?
Two separate questions.
Very much.
I'm confident it'll be free and fair. I don't know whether it will be peaceful. The things that Trump has said and the things that he said last time out when he didn't like the outcome of the election were very dangerous. If you notice, I noticed That vice presidential Republican candidate did not say he'd accept the outcome of the election. They haven't even accepted the outcome of the last election. So I'm concerned about what they're going to do.
Are you making any preparations, getting security briefings related to domestic security?
I always get those briefings.
Are you going to get security briefings about the election? Unreal. President Biden announced at his press briefing that his policies are Kamala Harris's policies. We've been warning you, and Biden has verified it. Vote for Trump for success and a winning record. While taking questions from the White House press briefing room, President Biden laughs at Senator Marco Rubio's accusations about the jobs report.
What do you make of Florida Senator Marco Rubio described today's jobs report as having fake numbers? What do you make of that, and how worried are you that many Americans are hearing that the jobs numbers aren't real?
Well, look.
Well, look, Joe. That last report you guys put out, yeah, those are fake numbers as well. So it stands to reason that people would question anything you guys put out. Because, as President Trump has said, these are called bounce back jobs. These are not jobs that you actually created. These are jobs that already existed. And people are finally going back to work after the pandemic.
I'm going to be very careful here. If you notice, anything the MAGA Republicans don't like, they call fake. Anything. The job number.
Anything the Republicans don't like, they call fake. Any truth you disagree with, Joe, you call that disinformation.
Are what the job numbers are. They're real. They're sincere. They're what we are. And by the way, just look at how the EU talks about us, how they like to have an economy like ours. Just talk about the rest of the world looks at us and what we're doing. So I don't want to get going.
Yeah, I don't want to keep going because I'm just a sack of potatoes up in my head there. President Biden throws Kamala under the bus in a surprise press conference, overshadowing her rally. Yeah, it was timed exactly as Kamala was hitting the stage. He goes out there. He made a joke, apparently. He's back in about re-entering the presidential race at the briefing. Jack Posobiec points out that Biden's literally trying to steal or destroy Kamala's campaign after she worked with Obama and Pelosi to push him out of the race. He even timed the press conference for exactly when her speech began today. Biden says he is in constant contact with Kamala Harris.
There have obviously been a number of crises that the country has been facing over the past several days with the hurricane, with the port strike, with the situation in the Middle East. Can you talk about how your vice president, who is running for the presidency, has worked on these crises and what role she has played over the past several days?
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She was a major player in everything we've done, including passage of legislation which we were told we could never pass. And so she's been, and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're doing.
There have obviously been a number.
Okay, so now Kamala officially owns the entire Biden administration. All the failures. President Joe Biden made a surprise visit, and it quickly exploded. Now, nobody knew he was going to show up. CNN was even pissed. But this is the moment of chaos when Joe Biden showed up. I mean, just madness. This is when he walked in. Listen to this. Watch.
Hey, folks. My name's Joe Biden.
Welcome, Mr. President.
We've been waiting for you.
Welcome to the swimming pool.
This is great.
So, did you hear those gasps? The reporters were in shock. You heard the one say, "We've been waiting for you." It's because the guy has never even given a press briefing in his own White House press briefing room. He referred to it as a swimming pool, and I want to make sure you guys understand the reference is because that location where the press room is used to be the White House swimming pool. Reporters actually gasping when they see him show up. Now here's CNN. CNN, people were all over X today on this. CNN accused Biden of overshadowing Kamala and stealing her thunder by addressing the port worker strike before she did in a super rare White House press briefing. Looks like tensions are rising in the West Wing.
And I do have a note, and I'm curious what you think about this. We were actually about to go live to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's speaking right now in Detroit, Michigan, and apparently she's talking about this port strike ending. She's trying to appeal to union workers, and yet you have the President of the United States come out clearly overshadowing her, answering significant questions. Is that a communications mistake? Is the left hand not talking to the right hand in this situation?
That's a very good point. And if they were coordinated, as you assume they would be, this would not have happened.
I do have...
But, of course, Joe Biden said that they're in constant communication. They're in lockstep together. Apparently not. Some speculating that this is because, as you saw with Jack Posobiec, that Biden's literally trying to destroy Kamala's campaign. So this really took everyone off guard today. No one expected to see Joe Biden show up in the press briefing. Let's listen to this. There's some other clips here. Let's go.
Secondly, this was President Biden's first time, correct, to the press briefing room since he's. Why
and you're welcome. You're welcome. I know this. I know where this question's going to go. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I prefer a question, but that's all right. But real quick, why not? Why didn't he come in the 3.5 years before? Why?
I mean, he came today, and you got to see him, and you were here.
I mean, he had the opportunity.
Oh man, come on, come on. He was here. He took your questions, and he is every Friday with the POTUS. Friday with the POTUS. You guys got to bring the ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream, sure. Let's see. We've also got this clip from after barely 10 minutes, Biden left.
All right, guys. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
On Ukraine, have you made a decision on long-range weapons?
Do you want to reconsider dropping out of the race? I'm back in.
What made you want to come here today, Mr. President?
All right, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Come back. Thank you. Can we do that again? Yeah.
No. All right, guys.
Can we do that again? No, she says. So what did we just witness? A president who can't handle a simple press conference, an administration in disarray, and a vice president thrown under the bus. It's clear the wheels are coming off this presidency, but here's what I want to know from you. After seeing Biden's performance today, do you think that he's fit to lead our country through these turbulent times? I can already see the comments. Or is it time for a change in leadership? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, let's get to the real-time reaction from everybody in the chat room. Real time. Prostitutes sucking up to him. He knows what happened. Roseanne Barr for the next press secretary. That was the first time I could understand him somewhat, says Dude Bro. Tiffany Clark. I'm in Leicester. I second the donate to local churches or Samaritan's Purse or Cajun Navy people here working honestly, actually helping us. Bathroom stage left. They are hitting us with every weapon they have that will not register an actual weapon. Totally agree. Not Joe. The real Joe is stuffed next to the vanilla ice cream in the freezer. Oh my goodness, you guys. You guys are hilarious. Okay, let's get to our third segment of the day. Let's check in on the latest from the Trump team. See what our real president's doing. Our rightfully elected president. America, while Biden fumbles and Harris flounders, there's one man who is showing what real leadership looks like. Donald Trump's been on the ground in Georgia working hand in hand with Governor Kemp to help hurricane victims. This is the America First agenda in action, folks. And wait until you hear what he said about putting American manufacturing first. And oh, by the way, preparations are underway in Butler, Pennsylvania for his upcoming rally, but that's just a footnote to the real story of Trump's hands-on leadership. Now, check this out. Are you listening? While Trump's taking charge in Georgia, helping hurricane victims, you need to take charge of your safety on the road. Recent reports show that drivers with dash cams are 60% less likely to be found at fault in traffic accidents. This easy-to-install dash cam, like Trump's hands-on approach, offers you protection when you need it most. It features 4K Ultra HD night vision, 24/7 motion detection. Don't wait for a disaster to strike. Visit carvisionx.com and get free express shipping and several bonuses with every order during their special summer sale. Take control of your safety today, just like Trump is taking control of the situation in Georgia. Now, let's take a look. This is a beautiful sight to see. The flag has returned to Butler. There it is. It is back. Remember seeing that flag twisted into what looked like the shape of an angel. Well, now it's back over Butler. Preparations are underway to have the next rally there. Absolutely beautiful, defiant President Trump going to go. So President Trump had a bunch of stuff on the agenda today. This interview with Larry Kudlow hit the airwaves. He was in Georgia with Kemp. So we're going to get to all of these clips here for you so you can get a nice roundup of everything that happened. Let's just go right to the manufacturing statement here.
And I would charge them enough that it would no longer make sense to go to Mexico.
And so they wouldn't do it.
They moved a big operation to Mexico. And they come in and they don't have to almost pay very little tax. So they're going to make it in Mexico and they're going to sell it in here. And we get killed. All we do is lose jobs. And by the way, that's been happening for years. I stopped it during mine. Then we had to fix COVID. We had to work on the COVID situation. But we had the greatest economy in history. Companies were moving back in like nobody's ever seen. Everything was great.
So that's how
we had the greatest economy in history.
That's how you'd negotiate, though. That's the point I'm so driving at.
John Deere.
John Deere won't do it because you're threatening. I mean, you will jack up their tariffs. Okay, they won't do it.
It wouldn't be a threat.
Now, to some extent,
in fact,
you're negotiating right now by saying this on the campaign trail. All right, you have an excellent chance of becoming president.
It's not a threat; it's a fact. President Trump also on the ground in Georgia. Our hearts break for the more than 200 American families who've lost loved ones, and those are the numbers that he's hearing. As you saw in our previous report, the number could be upwards of 2,000 or more. Numbers that they are not sharing with us because they know it would be disastrous to Kamala's aspirations for the White House.
Father, a lot of people knew our hearts break for the more than 200 American families who have lost their lives already. Officially 200, and that number, unfortunately, is going to be going up. It's one of the deadliest storms in American history. More than 24 Georgians have died, including a 27-year-old mother and her two precious babies who lived not very far from McDuffie County. And Father, a lot of people knew these people. They're great. As father and grandfather, I know that such sudden and tragic loss must be almost unbearable. Don't know how you can even take it. Loved ones all over your county, all over your state, and all over a lot of other states. You have Florida. Think of it, you have Virginia, you have South Carolina, you have Alabama, North Carolina maybe hit the worst. Our hearts break for the...
President Trump talking about
Kemp
the
there
storm.
in the background. You see Governor Brian Kemp there in the background. Let's actually listen to the former president.
Bad storm, maybe the worst. Thank you, sir.
Brief remarks there from former President Donald Trump. He was describing the damage from Hurricane Helene as he's shaking hands with folks on the ground there. Not the first stop for former President Trump in the Southeast since this hurricane swept through, killing at least 120 plus people. We're going to monitor this sit down between former President Trump and the governor of Georgia. And of course, we'll bring you the headlines.
So CNN reporting 120. Those are the CNN numbers. Remember our previous report? The woman said tack on a couple extra zeros. Here's more from the president's interview with Larry Kudlow.
There's no money for them. And the people in North Carolina and South Carolina and Georgia and Florida, Virginia, Tennessee, there's no money for them. Yeah. But they're giving people, how about where they let them come in and stay in hotels and our veterans are sleeping outside of the main door to the hotel. And they're watching migrants go into a hotel and sleep in a suite and they're sitting on the sidewalk and our veterans, they're our great veterans. This is the worst administration. Let me tell you, if they were modestly good, I wouldn't have even run. This is the worst administration.
But they spent this emergency money on illegal.
They stole it. They stole it.
This is also perversion of what the congressional authority was.
And they're trying to get those people to vote, Larry. They're trying to get those people to vote, just so you understand. They're trying to get them on the voter rolls. They want to put them on the Social Security rolls, which will destroy Social Security. This is the worst president in history. This is the worst administration in history. And she's worse than him. And actually, it's going to be hard to say this because he's pretty bad. She's actually less bright than he is. She has no clue what the hell she's doing. That's why she never does an interview. She never does a press conference because she can't talk. And the people in North Carolina.
She's less bright than he is. That's pretty bad when you think about it. He also weighed in on the honeymoon period. You guys all know what that is, right?
The same thing, but it's now she's had the honeymoon period, and now people have found out she's a radical leftist. She's a Marxist. A lot of people don't know what a Marxist is, so you could say communist. Not the same thing, but it's close. She's very bad for this country. She will destroy this country.
Mr. President, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And your wisdom.
Here's more.
And then you look at the vice president. How about that? J.D. Vance was great.
J.D. was terrific.
Top student at Yale Law School, graduated with honors.
He did you proud.
No, he was great.
He did you proud. You chose him, he did you proud.
And I knew I was getting, very smart guy. But how do you compare that with this guy that calls himself a knucklehead? He says that he's a knucklehead. He actually says that it's... Can he be president someday?
Well, Tim Walz for president, that's a terrifying consideration. So President Trump doing what he does best, and that is lead. He is acting as a president should. Kamala Harris is too busy at fundraisers and rallies. People on the ground in Georgia and North Carolina are suffering. Okay? There's aid that's being blocked by FEMA and confiscated by some accounts, thousands dead. Trump's actually on the ground doing the hard work as preparations are underway for his grand return to Butler. So there you have it, folks. While the current administration flounders, Trump is showing what real leadership looks like. He's not just talking about helping Americans, he's actually doing it. He's not just promising to bring back jobs, he's laying out a plan to make it happen. But here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Trump's hands-on approach to crisis management and his America First policies are what our country needs right now? Let us know in the comments below. All right, let's check in on chat. What are you guys thinking here? Get your real-time reaction. Archangel says we're not going to make it to the election. Biden Kamala will lead us into World War III. Southern Gal says, God bless America. If Jesus returned, he would quickly, Jesus is coming soon. Amen. I hope so. When will the arrest come for Kamala and Biden? I don't know. Tissot says the Democrat Party is done. Okay, let's see some more of your comments. Any Rumble rants, Brian? No? Biden and Harris and the rest of them crooks need military tribunals. I'd vote for that. Okay, let's get to segment 4. Now, folks, if you thought that Biden's press conference was a disaster, wait until you hear about Kamala Harris's latest campaign trail fiasco. Picture this: the Vice President of the United States standing in front of a crowd in Michigan repeating 32 days like a broken record because her teleprompter malfunctioned. But that's not all. While Harris fumbles, J.D. Vance is rising, delivering a message that's resonating with Americans. And wait until you hear what he said about Harris's policies. This is a tale of two Americas, my friends. Now, check this out. Are you listening? While Kamala Harris stumbles over teleprompters, our national debt has skyrocketed past $35 trillion. The government's borrowing just to pay interest, sinking us deeper into debt. Meanwhile, gold's value has soared past $2,400 an ounce. Smart investors are moving from risky paper money to constitutionally backed gold and silver. If you got funds in a low-interest account or a 401k IRA, it's time to call Global Gold Investments, America's top conservative precious metals dealer. Get their free 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Call that number on the screen, 888-700-4148. Mention Next News for VIP treatments and a free portfolio analysis. Don't wait. Call 888-700-4148 or visit IRAGoldproof.com. Remember, without gold, you don't have real wealth. So, where do we begin with this story today? Yeah, Magic Johnson, he showed up. That's probably why everyone showed up to see Kamala Harris today. You know, she can't draw a crowd unless she's got some name recognition. We'll play his remarks in a minute. But this is the moment that Kamala Harris has no clue what to say after her teleprompter appears to stop working. She just keeps repeating herself. This is so cringe, and it is so indicative that this woman is a failure and a fraud.
So remember his number, 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
Oh.
So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it. And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead.
We are the underdog, she says. But you can see the terror on her face when the teleprompter fails. Just watch her face, watch her reaction, and she keeps going 32, 32. She's looking around, she's checking each prompter because they've got glass panels on either side of the stage and one big one in front of her. Okay? It's so clear. The terror on her face. And then she starts fumbling around, stumbling, trying to fill the time. And she looks around. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, she's looking. What do I do? She's terrified. She looks up. Oh, no. Teleprompter's not working. Come on, guys. Get it working again. Okay. Did you guys get it working again? She's still looking around. Okay, she turns to the center. She's checking. She's trying to send cues. All she can do is keep repeating those last words that are stuck on the teleprompter. 32 days. Oh, there she is. Okay, 32 days. Yep. Look, okay, guys. It's still there. 32 days. I mean, if this was Trump, he wouldn't need a teleprompter. He would just go off the cuff for 5 minutes while the tech team figured it out. Okay, we got some business. She's just filibustering now because the tech guys are scrambling to figure out how to fix the teleprompter. Oh, man. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Of course, she had to give us that cringe about Magic Johnson's number. Trump War Room posting. She actually says groceries are still too high. And they said, we know because you caused this with your tie-breaking votes on the spending that caused record inflation.
Still too high. Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know.
Yeah, we know it because it's your fault. Here's more. She acknowledges at another event that home prices are too expensive.
$5,000, including providing first-time home buyers with a $25,000 down payment assistance so they can just get their foot literally in the door to be able to invest in the American dream.
Trying to buy votes with that plan. Kamala admits grocery prices are too high, pins the blame on corporate price gouging.
And to lower costs, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. And so we have a plan to lower costs on everything from healthcare to groceries, including what I've done in my career as Attorney General, which is we got to take on corporate price gouging.
This is what blows my mind. We have a plan to do this. But you are the frickin' vice president. You have the ear of the president, and you can't just walk into the Oval Office and say, here's my plan. Let's execute it now. Let's give the people the relief they need now. Oh, no. I'm going to dangle that carrot until Election Day. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. I don't even know how you can have a campaign platform like this. Who writes these campaign platforms? Home prices too high. Groceries are too high. And then she goes into this thing about unions. When unions are strong, America is strong. Trump War Room points out that unions are currently not strong. Their members are suffering under record inflation because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden policies.
And the bottom line is when unions are strong, America is strong. And our unions have always fought to make our nation then more equal, more fair, and more free. And in this election, in 32 days, everything we have fought for is on the line. And the bottom line is
everything we fought for. So the clip we just showed you, this is the turnout that she had for that event. Pretty paltry turnout in Michigan. Now, J.D. Vance, he also had a rally today. Quite the turnout. And he took Kamala to task.
What bothers me so much, as an American leader, it is your job to show up and do what is necessary. And here's what bothers me so much about Kamala Harris, and I think about all the things that we could criticize her on. But at the beginning of her administration, you know that she fought very hard to make sure that COVID relief money went to illegal aliens, to the tune of $1,000 per person, making sure that money went to illegal aliens. And she shows up to survey the storm damage a couple days ago, and she says that we're going to give $750 to the people suffering from these devastating storms. Well, Kamala, I think you've got it exactly the opposite. The federal government ought to give all it can to the American citizens devastated by these storms, not to illegal aliens who have no right to be here. As an American...
J.D. Vance tearing it up today. Oh, he brought up 32 days as well. Let's see how he framed
leadership
it.
of this country in 32 days. We're going to change the leadership of this country, and we're going to rebuild the American dream stronger than ever. Keep faith in our country, keep faith in our people, keep faith amongst ourselves, because Kamala Harris, I'm telling you, we're going to look back at Kamala Harris as a blip in the radar, as a one brief exception to the greatest American story and in 32
the greatest American story ever. So, both of them out on the campaign trail today. Kamala Harris playing with her teleprompter problems. And here's Magic Johnson. Brian, go vertical, please.
Opponent. Now, there's a lot of black men in here, and I don't mean to, not talk to other people, but this is important.
Come on.
Our black men, we got to get them out to vote. That's number one. Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on.
Is that right? All right. Is that right, Magic? What exactly did he not deliver on? What about the record amount of money that he gave to the black colleges? What about that? What about the opportunity zones that he set up in low-income communities to stimulate their economies? What about all the things he did there? Magic?
Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on.
Come on.
And we got to make sure we help black men understand that. So that's why I'm here, to make sure I help black men understand. First, get out and vote, and then vote for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he was there. Otherwise, that room would have been empty. So there you have it. Kamala Harris, the woman who's supposed to be ready to step into the presidency at a moment's notice, can't even handle a teleprompter malfunction. Meanwhile, J.D. Vance is offering a clear and decisive vision for America's future. It's a stark contrast that's becoming impossible to ignore. But here's what I want to know from you. After seeing Harris' performance and hearing Vance's message, who do you think is more prepared to lead our country? Share your thoughts in the comments below. All right, let's get your reaction in real time. Every missing person will end up voting Democrat. Ooh, that's rough to even think about, man. Unmagic Johnson, says Renee. Just talk, lose the jive, says Vicky. Who is a spokesman for the black community, says Jim L. They will answer to God, says Florapod. Had Kenny as a humanitarian. I do not allow myself to hate God. It's hard not to when it comes to Biden, Harris, and their elitist friends and administration. Marvana Twig, CEO of National Youth Advocate Program, is sending illegals to your neighborhood. She secured $400 million. Her salary is $1.2 million, your tax money. Marvana Twig. I'm not sure who that is, but we'll have to write that up and look it up. Maria, has anyone seen Candace Owens' investigation on Kamala's family tree history? She's hiding something. Oh yeah, no, that I have actually watched some of Candace's stuff on that, and it's really good. The stuff that she's digging into, she's got people on the ground sending her information from the place where Kamala's family grew up. It's really awesome, the work that she's doing. Okay, I'm having a little teleprompter malfunction myself here. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got. See, at least I can handle it. Okay. 32. Jay did it awesome in the debate with Elmer Fudd. I wonder if Kamala and Magic Johnson ever partied with Diddy and his ruffians. I don't think they would have invited Magic Johnson given his medical condition. So, but I'm sure that Kamala had probably spent some time back in the day. Let's see. Okay, let's get to our next topic. Segment 5. Some good news for a change here. America, the numbers are in, and they're sending shockwaves through Washington. Donald Trump isn't just leading in the polls, he is surging. We're talking about a 7-point lead over Kamala Harris in the latest Rasmussen poll. But it gets better. Trump's winning 40% of the black vote in New York, and he is even leading among independents. The mainstream media is in panic mode, folks. Even Neil Cavuto at Fox. They're trying to downplay these numbers, but we've got the inside scoop on what these polls really mean for 2024. Now, check this out. Are you listening? Just like Trump's surging in the polls, your testosterone levels could be surging too. Many think that low T is due to aging or genetics, but the real culprit might be on your plate. There's one food, something that you've been told is healthy, that's devastating your testosterone levels. It's not junk food or sugar. It's far more surprising. And cutting this from your diet could transform your energy and motivation. V-Shred, well, they've seen incredible results with their clients. They want to know. Do you want to know what this food is? Head over to sculptnation.com/NNN or click the link below. V-Shred experts reveal it all. Don't miss this game-changing information. So a new poll alert is out. Trump surging ahead of Harris in key swing states. Georgia, North Carolina with a 5-point shift in the latest Quinnipiac polling. General consensus, pollsters might not be capturing the full picture. Trump support could be even stronger than they think.
Quinnipiac shows Trump. Polling from Quinnipiac shows Trump ahead of Harris in two important swing states, Georgia and North Carolina. That looks pretty bad for Harris if the momentum has shifted in those two states.
It's been a 5-point shift from their most recent polling. Quinnipiac has not been terribly kind to President Trump. That's okay. We want these polls to be as honest as possible. They're still all over the map. I think a lot of these pollsters have not adjusted for people who are either not answering the phone when they call and talking about Trump voters, or they just flat out lie. I think the numbers for Trump in some of these close states are actually a little bit better than the polling that we're seeing. Real Clear Politics is calling Pennsylvania a tie. I was just there this weekend talking to a lot of people, and you have some very, very motivated Trump supporters who are being more vocal about their support this time around than they were in 2020.
So that's some good news from Quinnipiac. And CNN actually dropping one of the worst polls to date for Kamala Harris. Electoral college win probability, Donald Trump 68.4% to Kamala Harris at 30.9%. Kamala Harris has totally lost CNN, and I love it. Bryce Lipscomb says, never in my life did I expect that this could be President Donald Trump's electoral map, but these polls are speaking for themselves. The DNC is headed for a world of hurt. Look at this. Democrats, 174 electoral votes. Republicans at 364. That is a landslide victory for Donald Trump. People are sick and tired of the destructive policies of the Biden-Harris regime. And Kamala Harris running around the country with her cackle and her joy and her AstroTurf is not going to save it. Voter registration in Arizona is trending towards Republicans. This is a potentially massive signal. The polls are underestimating Trump yet again. Look at these numbers, 2024 versus 2024. 2020 versus 2024. Look at all that. Up. So Rasmussen, this is funny because Neil Cavuto snapped today when Donald Trump brought up this poll. Rasmussen dropping a poll revealing Trump gaining massively on Kamala Harris in New York, shows winning 40% of the black vote and outright winning independent voters. No wonder Democrats keep importing illegals into New York City. They need replacement votes. We've been saying this since the border was wide open, that this is the plan. Let's listen in. We'll get to the Cavuto clip in a second here, but let's listen to this official video from Rasmussen.
Now, this is incredible. Trump is only down 11 points on Harris in New York. That's incredible. And what's fascinating is Trump does pretty poorly with New York Republicans, at least compared with Harris and Democrats. But the independent signal is going really strong for Trump by 9 points. Trump doesn't do that great in the white vote, probably because of the urban vote. But in the sample, Trump's getting 40% of the black vote in New York. That is huge. And Harris is getting a Hispanic vote. Again, a smaller sample. We couldn't do everything with weighting. And 18 to 39-year-olds are breaking Harris by 13 points. Now, this is incredible. We're talking about 23 to 11. So Trump has made up, according to this analysis, over half of his loss against Biden just in the last 4 years. Now, we've been talking a lot about how, in my opinion, the battleground state polling has been lagging Trump's national numbers. And one take on that, and I think there's some truth to it, is that all of the state polling is still leaning somewhat left. I think there's also an aspect of in the battleground states, that's where most of the Democrat advertising dollars are going. But another conclusion might be that deep blue centers are breaking Trump more than they have in like forever.
He brings up the deep blue areas. I saw a post today. I did not bookmark it, but it did say that Kamala has amplified her spending, her marketing, her advertising in Illinois, Chicago specifically. That's a bad sign. Okay. When they up their spend in Chicago. So yeah, Neil Cavuto went off on a rant about how he thinks Trump is lying by being up 7 points, as reported by Rasmussen. He loses it on Trump for reporting that illegals are the ones getting all the new jobs, as reported by the government. Their own reporting.
That the government... Right, I don't know what poll he's referring to where he says he is up 7 points. And one other reference I want to refer to here when he was talking about more illegals are...
Obviously, he didn't do his homework.
He is up 7 points. And one other reference I want to refer to here when he was talking about more illegals are accounting for these jobs than anyone else. I don't know where he is getting that. In the latest employment report out today, 254,000 jobs were gained. Says nothing about annotations for illegals getting those jobs, nor would it. The fact of the matter is both private payrolls and across virtually all sectors, save barely any movement at all in manufacturing, the job gains were double what were thought. Furthermore, the numbers for August and July were revised upward, 55,000 and 17,000 respectively. Now, people can quibble with that data, as they often do, and this big revision that the government had in showing that 818,000 fewer jobs over the last year than were earlier reported. The Labor Department came out with that, as it does every year, in revised figures when they take everything into account. And even with that, millions of more jobs gained. I only stress that because the jobs are what the jobs are. Some are revised, and indeed on a monthly basis they can be updated. But these grew, and there was no annotation of any of these disproportionately going to illegals. That would be.
Oh, poor Neil. Used to like that guy. Ren G. Cavuto is. I saw that and thought, wow, what a jerk Cavuto is. Plus, Trump is on the ground helping hurricane victims. What's Cavuto doing other than whining and spreading false info? Who wouldn't believe that Trump is up by 7 points? I'd actually say Trump could be up by 80 points with this circus. So we got some big poll numbers coming out. Here it is. This is the actual poll. Trump opens up a 7-point lead in the latest Rasmussen Daily National Poll. That's what Trump was referring to. And Neil Cavuto failed to do his homework on that. Before 2020, before the election, aggregate polls had Biden in the lead in Florida. Listen to this. By up to almost 3 percentage points. Despite this, Trump won by a 3.4-point margin. Okay? So the polls showed Biden leading by 3 points. Trump won by 3.4. 2024 polls have Trump up by 4%. If the 2024 polls are half as accurate as in 2020, Trump is up by 7.4% in Florida. With the latest slew of polling data, CNN's poll of polls gives Trump a near 70% chance of winning the 2024 election. CNN's poll of polls provides a shocking update on Trump's chances. Donald Trump is the clear favorite right now to win the 2024 election under CNN's latest national poll update, with win odds at nearly 70%. Trump is the clear favorite. And here is CNN reporting that 28% of Americans think the U.S., 28% of Americans think the United States is on the right track.
Think that the country.
Hello? Not sure. Play.
That this sort of gets at a problem.
Oh, come on. I don't know what's going on tonight here.
For Kamala Harris's campaign, just 28% of Americans think the U.S. is on the right track. And I want you to put that into perspective, right? When does the average, when the incumbent party loses the election? Look at that. It's just 25%. That looks a heck of a lot like that 28%, right? That currently think the country is on the right track. When the White House party wins, i.e. Kamala Harris's party, the Democrats, 42% on average think that the country is on the right track. This 25% looks a lot more like this 28%. It doesn't look anything like this 42%. This, to me, is a bad sign for Kamala Harris's campaign. The bottom line is it looks a lot more like a loser than it does like a winner when it comes to the country being on the right track.
That's bad news for Kamala Harris. That is it. Trump skyrocketing to a 7-point lead over Harris, according to the most recent Rasmussen poll, 52 to 45. So, ladies and gentlemen, these poll numbers, they're not just statistics, they are a wake-up call. The American people are speaking loud and clear, and they are saying they want Trump back in the White House. But here's what I want to know from you. Do you think these poll numbers are accurately capturing the mood of the country, or could Trump's support be even stronger than these numbers suggest? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. All right, let's check in with you guys in real time. Bye-bye, camel, says Alan. UK, let's see, facts. Let's see here. Horrifying to see the bodies of hurricane victims. I know, it's so sad. Just watched a video about Poland and how they handle illegals. Yeah, they don't mess around there. Kathleen Miller says, I think 28% is a little high. Cuckoo D says, this guy always cracks me up. Must be talking about the CNN guy. David Potter, 32, 32, 32. Get out and vote, Mr. Leadhead. AZ is not blue. They lied about us because governor cheated to get in. Yes, they sure did. Let's see. Too big to rig, Mr. Leadhead. Blue Eyes, I was watching the night Trump had it by a landslide by 2:30 in a blink of an eye. Biden automatically got to the top. I remember that, man. I remember that, going to bed, waking up the next morning, and then being like, what? You're kidding me. I couldn't believe what I saw. The charts. It was a nightmare. It was like waking up to a nightmare. Digital Revolution says Trump is the chosen one. Margot says everyone must vote. Renee says, by the way, love watching the Next News Network. Keep it up. Great investigation and reporting work. Thank you. Thank you, Renee, Michelle, for watching and sharing. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you guys. Sincerely, you guys keep us going. Do some Brian Stelter voices, Gary. Brian Stelter. I'm Brian Stelter. Donald Trump is Orange Man bad. I cannot do it as good as Mark Dice, though. Okay, he is the king of the Brian Stelter impersonation. Alice, Fred's asking, Alice, yes, I'm in Illinois. Yes, I am west of the city of Chicago. Let's see what else we got here. Be lots of voter fraud. Hopefully not. God, pray for this country. New Zealand for MAGA. Sweet. I love it when I see my friends from New Zealand and Australia chiming in, and you guys are awesome. I know we got a lot of fans out there in Australia and New Zealand. It's pretty cool. I mean, even in Greece, I had years ago. My sister-in-law was at a cafe in Greece, and she heard my voice in a cafe, and she got up and she saw somebody watching me on their phone in a Greek cafe. She says, "That's my brother-in-law." How cool is that, right? Yes, baby. Next news is worldwide. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's check in the latest news as it's happening here. Okay, the flag that was twisted into an angel on July 13th is back. Trump will return to Butler tomorrow for the first time since the first assassination attempt. How sick is it that we have to designate it? We have to give it a number. The first one. Not the second or the third one or the fourth, right? It's the first one. Donald Trump 2 hours ago ripping into Liz Cheney on his X account as Liz Cheney, one of the dumber people in politics ever, looked at the horrible statement she's made about lying Kamala Harris. Every view and policy is the exact opposite of what Cheney and her equally ridiculous father, who got us in the never-ending wars in the Middle East, have stated over the years. They're being posted all over the internet, and Cheney looks even dumber than I thought she was, but I still say Kamala is worse. Donald Trump. So happy he's back on X. So happy. Here we have subx.news. This is a Chicago scanner channel that I follow. Migrants being migrants over here by Elston. There was a shooting here earlier. We'll see if anything happened. 9:30 p.m., October 4th, subx.news, on the spot reporting. And I think what they do basically is they listen to the Chicago scanner. They drive around and they try to get first on the scene when things are happening. Capture the chaos from all the things. It's not just the migrant crime. It's, other crime as well. We're not following Joe Rogan's experience? What? Okay. Well, how about we follow that? Let's give it a follow. Let's see what Joe Rogan's doing. We'll give him tap in. All post. Yes, sir. Oh, I did see this post today. This is like straight up cringe. Anyone know when this is from? Yeah. I said I know where it's from. Okay, what else have we got going on? 1 week after Helene, this guy goes to Swannanoa, North Carolina, one of the areas that was hardest hit. He's bringing in desperately needed supplies, heartbreaking scenes as he tells us. No government, no FEMA. If only they had some illegals, they could get help. Yeah, no kidding. God bless the USA. Morgan Whalen wearing a 47 jersey at sold out Tampa concert. Pam Bondi. Mr. Reagan. God, I love this guy. Is he on the list or just retarded? A new Bruce Springsteen endorsement of Kamala. I was going to cover this, but you know what? I'm not going to give this guy any airtime. But since we're here,
Harris for president. Hi, I'm Bruce Springsteen. Friends, fans, and the press have asked me who I'm supporting in this most important of elections. And with full knowledge that my opinions no more or less important than those of any of my fellow citizens, here's my answer. I'm supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president.
Nobody cares, dude. I love how they think that having all these celebrity endorsements can put them over the line. The sad thing is there's a lot of people in America look up to these people. They idolize these people. They do whatever they say. They have a very dedicated fan base, and they're all brainwashed. Like all these people that follow Taylor Swift. It's the same thing. And of course, Mr. Reagan bringing up a good point. Did he go to some Diddy parties too? Let's see. We've got spilled the memes. I don't even want to know what that's going to look at. No mention of FEMA having no more funds. No mention of only $750 relief for residents. On MSNBC's main page, they thought this would be more newsworthy. Trump and Diddy highlight hip-hop toxic masculinity problem. See what they did there? They add Trump and Diddy in the same headline and combine the theme. More guilt by association. This is on MSNBC's front page. Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, Robert Davi, man. This guy is freaking awesome. He says Bruce Springsteen has an absolute right to endorse who he wishes, but his extreme lack of honest assessment has triggered my response. Not for the faint of heart. Okay. Brian, I think we got to go vertical on this. Let's see what Robert Davi has to say here. Oh boy, this is a 5-minute clip.
Dear fellow Americans, I have to speak up to you all.
Come on, what the heck is going on here? What is going on? Brian, would you... I think I need to change the Wi-Fi on this phone. Could you cut to a scene so I can... that doesn't have my phone on it so I can adjust my Wi-Fi? Let's see here. No wonder. Okay, I got it, Brian.
Of us as citizens have the right to endorse who we wish. But there's a few things I want to say to you, Bruce. You know, you were the blue-collar troubadour for many of us. And for some reason, you turned into a $750 million elite swamp rat for the Democratic Party. I guess it's your prerogative to do that. You know, you lost touch with the everyman. You hustled the everyman, pretending to be one of them, only to chump bitch many of your fans. It's a shame. Now, you have an absolute right to vote for who you wish, but you do not have the right to lie and spit in the face of half of America. Could you be that unaware, Bruce? Could you be that unaware? The lies you said in terms of, and it's the left's battle cry, the threat to democracy. The threat to democracy. As if it's all Trump's fault. Bruce, that's so disingenuous. I wrote an article in 2012 or 2014. I'm going to refer to it later on in a different tweet, different X tweet. The turning point for America, it was 2014. It was under the Obama administration. President Obama has divided this America unlike anyone ever has. That's who started the division in America. It happened before then, of course, but Obama really put the pedal to the metal, so to speak. He had a chance to unite America under Ferguson, and he didn't. And I will read to you my article later on. You see, we went from a country, e pluribus unum, to a country that was split apart at the seams. You have 21 million migrants, illegals, coming into our country that are getting treated better than the people in North Carolina, Bruce. How could you stand by? Yes, you could do a fundraiser, you can sing your heart out for them. But, Bruce, that's all just optics. It's bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. Make a few dollars, feel good, pat on the back, and people love you for it. But that's bullshit. Your real power comes in your vote, and you know that. And to go for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, when they let seditiously 21 million illegals, at least, into this country, and has given them so much money that FEMA is broke. FEMA is broke and can't help the people in North Carolina. And you're talking about a threat to democracy, Bruce? When our elections, you think our elections are pure? You think our elections are pure, Bruce? You're smarter than that. You've got more money than that. Stop talking in that echo chamber. You guys have an echo chamber, a one-way line to bullshit. You're better than that, but you're not. You're not. You grew up Catholic, Bruce, remember? Look in your heart, Bruce. This is the most important election, and not because we want Trump to win. It's because there are forces against this country, Bruce, of which you are part of, which you have embraced. You have embraced the cabal. What about free speech, Bruce? Is that not a threat to democracy? Is free speech not a threat to democracy, Bruce? Our speech, our tongues have been tied to our foreheads, stapled to the foreheads. Certain things which were acceptable are no longer acceptable. You can't speak. You can't speak your mind. We've known that the Biden, Bruce, somebody has to whisper in your ear. Your wife, Patty, one of your children, someone close to you has to say to you, Bruce, wait a second. Hunter Biden had a laptop and 51 intel agencies in our government said it didn't exist. Is that not a threat to democracy? This happened before Trump got elected. What about the Steele dossier before Trump got elected? What about spying on Trump's campaign before Trump got elected? And as I said earlier, Ferguson was a turning point.
Gotta love Robert Davi, my friends. Gotta love him. So, folks, we've covered a lot of ground tonight. I hope you're as fired up as I am. Let's recap what we have learned. We've seen FEMA's catastrophic failure in North Carolina with bodies piling up and whistleblowers exposing gross mismanagement. It's a reminder of how our government is failing the very people it is supposed to protect. We witnessed Joe Biden's rare and chaotic press conference, a spectacle that would be comedic if it weren't so terrifying. The leader of the free world stumbling over words and relying on handlers to save face. It's a clear sign of a presidency in crisis. Meanwhile, Donald Trump showing what real leadership looks like on the ground in Georgia, working with Governor Kemp, actually doing something about the hurricane devastation. It is the America First agenda in action. Kamala Harris' teleprompter tragedy in Michigan exposed her inability to think on her feet, while J.D. Vance rises with a message that resonates with everyday Americans, and the contrast could not be clearer. And those poll numbers, they're sending shockwaves through Washington. Trump's surge isn't just a trend, it's a movement. But here's the thing, America, none of this matters if we don't keep fighting. The mainstream media, the political establishment, they are all working overtime to silence voices like ours. That's why we need your support now more than ever. Your donations keep us on the air, exposing the truth and holding those in power accountable. Head to the link in the description right now. Chip in what you can. Every dollar counts in this fight for the soul of our republic. And don't forget to tell a friend about our show, share our streams, spread the word. We are in this together, and together we can take back our republic. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you next time, America. God bless you, and have a wonderful weekend.